Hey friends, welcome to my channel. Let's get crafting. This old ladder is definitely something that was forgotten, and I knew I could turn it into something magical. So I made my cut lines, and I made sure that was a 45-degree angle for this top part of the ladder. We're going to actually get two projects out of this one ladder, and I went ahead and cut them with my jigsaw. Once everything was cut apart, I went ahead and flattened out the top part of that ladder, and I'm just sanding it all down to make sure all the edges are nice and smooth. Now this is what it looked like before and after I cut it, and then I took it into my craft room to remove all of the stickers with my heat gun. After that, I went ahead and got some white paint and went ahead and painted all the wood. Now I didn't paint the metal as best I could because I wanted to make sure that still remained the same. I love how worn it looked. It was so perfect for that farmhouse look. And then for my ladder, I also ended up giving that 2 coats of paint. And then once it was all dry, I went ahead and sanded it. Now this is the trick with these old ladders. You don't want anything to snag or even bleed onto anything. I actually decided to just seal the whole thing once I sanded it with some Mod Podge, and then after that I was ready to display both of my items. Today I am participating in a collab with some amazing YouTubers. All of us are coming together for a fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity. This collab was put on by Christina, the DIY Mommy. I will also have her channel linked down below so you can check her out, as well as all the other people that are in this collab today. This is a wonderful organization where they give back to our communities and help those in need, especially during this Christmas season. There will be a donation button if you are interested in donating for this cause, that you can go and click on it. It's a secure site so that when you donate, it will be able to help those in need if you are able to do so this year. Myself and all of these friends will be giving a portion of our videos to this donation as well. Now, all of us each picked something from Habitat for Humanity and we gave it a makeover. Make sure to go down to the playlist linked below in the description box to check out what everybody has done. The transformations are amazing and the team is so fantastic. For this DIY, I'm going to be using this staircase spindle that I also picked up from Habitat for Humanity, as well as some Dollar Tree products. You all know I love my Dollar Tree DIYs, and so I'm going to be using this staircase spindle to make the most beautiful farmhouse angel that I know you're all going to get so excited when you see how I create the wings, because it is really something. All right, we're going to take these two signs and we're going to lay them right next to each other with the spindle right in the middle, and we're going to start just tracing out these wings. Now I love using these signs because you can cut them and shape them to whatever you might need for your project. It does take a little bit of elbow grease, but you know what? Once you get the shape you want, you can do some cool things. So here I am at this point. I'm taking my craft knife and I'm making sure I'm cutting on my mat. Don't ever cut just directly on your table, obviously, but I'm just going to say just in case you're a new crafter. And I'm just scoring all along these, and I'm cutting them and snapping them as I go. And if there's any rough edges, I'm going to be snipping it with my scissors or my craft knife in any tough areas, and then sanding it to get the shape that we need. Once I've got 2 of those done, I put them to the side and we're going to start working on the body of the angel. So we're going to take this sign from this little wood plaque, actually from the Dollar Tree. I filled in the holes, and then I'm doing a countersink hole right here. My drill bit is not big enough. You all know, if you've been watching for a while, I need to get bigger drill bits. But I'm going in with a smaller drill at this point, and I'm going to just pre-drill some holes to make sure I don't splinter or crack anything, because this stairway spindle is pretty old and I don't want to have any issues with it. So I went ahead and started my screw, got everything all lined up, and I'm putting on some wood glue and some hot glue for that short-term, long-term hole that you all know I love so much. And now I'm going back in and I started to screw it in, and now I'm just twisting to get it in place, and then I'll go back in one more time to really sink in that screw, and it should be nice and flat at the bottom. Now this is the cool part where the wings start to happen. I'm so excited about this part. I went ahead and took my staple gun, and I'm just going to staple all up the spine of this angel. And I'm going to do it on both sides, and it is so secure on here, friends. Now this is where it really starts to come to life. I'm going to take the smallest popsicle stick that there is, and then we're going to just keep cutting them down. We want to have the rounded edges. This is the bottom of the wing, and then we're going to just keep adding on more pieces. As we add on more and more and more, we keep shifting our way up, and just have fun with it. Move things around. Make sure that you're trying to cover up any gaps that would show that original sign. Once I got that part down, I moved up to the tongue depressor stick size, did a few rows of that, made sure I was curving along the edge, and then I moved on to these really big sticks that I picked up from Walmart, and I love these because they cover even more surface, and this is really where it's going to start to take the shape of that wing. When you get to the top, just keep using your pencil to create the shape that you need, cut things out, and then just continue to layer until you get the desired look that you want on the wing. I really had a lot of fun creating this part and just shaping everything to get the look that I was going for, and just kept working with it until the entire wing was completely covered. And make sure you go all the way into the groove between the stair spindle and the wing to make sure it's all nice and covered in there. Now once that was all done, I went ahead and moved on to the head. I'm just drilling out a hole, adding in one of these sticks, one of the craft sticks from the Dollar Tree, and then this ornament. When I saw this, I knew that this could be a head for an angel, so I snagged it. And how cool is it that it has the exact same scalloped texture as the wings? I thought that this was meant to be together. I was so thrilled over this. So once I added a little hot glue, I went ahead and twisted it onto the body of the angel. And now I wanted to create some depth and some texture to this angel and her wings. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with a pretty gray color, and I'm just going to work into all of those little crevices, making sure everything is covered in the gray color, and making sure that I just keep tapping as I go. This is, I think, probably where it goes from just being a craft to a high-end looking item that you might see in an actual boutique. And then I made sure I flipped it over, got all the sides, got the back, and I'm going to also paint the bottom base this color, but I'm going to come back in with some white paint and dry brush over the wings and the feathers, and I'm going to dry brush over the base as well. Make sure you have very little paint on your brush as you're doing this. This is the dry brush technique, and then just keep working with it until you get that desired look that you want. Now I wanted to be able to have my angel holding up a wreath in between her because, well, I like little tiny wreaths, and why not? So I went ahead and took some of this garland, twisted it around into a smaller wreath, and then to make it look more high-end, I'm going to take some boxwood and I'm going to add that to the wreath. But once I had everything all twisted into place, I'm now going to take this. I picked these up from Hobby Lobby on a really long vine, and I just cut it up until I get everything all used up, and then I go and pick up another one with my coupon. Now I'm going to add some berries, and I'm just going to really finish off this look by making sure I don't have any bald areas on it. I wanted to make sure it looks really covered and really beautiful. And then the last, add a bow to finish the look and hang it on your angel. If you are new coming over from the playlist, welcome. My name is Heidi Sonboul, and this is my DIY channel. Friends, I am a third-generation crafter. My grandma was a crafter, my mom is a crafter, and so am I. I'm just keeping the tradition going alive, but I'm doing it online. I post here on my channel on Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Tuesdays, I do my 10 on Tuesday. That's right, 10 crafts. And this coming Tuesday is going to be partnered up with Wendy from White Sparrow Living. I love her. She's one of my dear friends. And then Friday, our Friend Friday Hops. If you don't know what that is, it's teamed up with a whole bunch of really awesome YouTubers. It's something that I created at the beginning of this year, and it's so much fun. I will link the video from yesterday's Friend Friday Hop so you can go and check it out. And if you haven't already, come over and say hi to me on Instagram. I'm over there and posting all the time, giving lots of sneak peeks of what I'm working on in my craft room. So come on over and say hi to me. For this DIY, I'm going to be using another one of these stair spindles. spindles, and I'm going to be turning it into an awesome tree. Now, some of you might have seen this one before because I have done this craft before, but I thought this would be great to put in with this video from Habitat for Humanity just in case you missed it. So we're going to be doing the same similar steps as the angel, and we are going to be patching that hole, and we're going to be doing the same countersink holes and drills. We're going to follow all of these same steps, but the top of this is going to be totally different. Now, the thing that is so cool about this DIY is that this woodland farmhouse look is really popular right now, and these particular trees are so expensive. And plus, I think this one's a little bit cuter than the metal weird forms that the trees are on when you get them from Hobby Lobby. I just love the stair spindle on this. I think it looks so farmhouse, and just what a great way to upcycle. Now, my Habitat for Humanity has a huge bin of all of these stair spindles. I bet yours probably does too. And these things, they sell them for anywhere 50 cents to maybe $2 depending on the condition of it. So mine in particular, I picked it up for 50 cents. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a couple of these trees from the Dollar Tree, and I love these things because when you flatten them on one side just like this and bring them together, they become even thicker and they look so great when we bring them together. Now I'm going to be using 3 because I want to make this tree really tall. This thing is over 4 feet tall, and that is so stinking cool for the price that we basically made this for. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, about $4, maybe $5. And I mean, these trees, they sell them for anywhere $50 to $100 depending on the height of them. So right now I'm just zip tying these trees together and making sure they're on there nice and snug. And we're going to also conceal those zip ties so you don't see them in a minute. But right now I'm just positioning everything, and then I'm going to bring on that last one and get that right there into place. Now, the fun thing about these trees, when you put them straight out, they look a little too Charlie Brown. But if you point the bristles down, it makes it look like an evergreen tree, which is so cool, and I love the way it looks. So just make sure when you're working with these, pull the bristles down, and all of a sudden it really changes the way that the tree looks. Now the next thing, like I said, we're going to hide those zip ties because we don't want to see those things. They're not that cute. I'm going to take some twist ties from the Dollar Tree and just cover them up. Now I'm going to use some E6000, and that hole that we drilled earlier, I'm going to just sink that right down in there. And I'm also going to go back in and reinforce it with some hot glue to make sure we've got that short-term hold while the E6000 dries. Now I'm coming down to the base, and I'm just simply painting it, sanding it, distressing it, giving it some love, and then that's pretty much it. Oh, and then the last thing I decided to do, because I love bows and why not add a bow to it, I just added a simple bow that's long and beautiful. For this DIY, I'm going to be taking this newel. This is the bottom post at the bottom of a staircase. I looked this up a while ago and I was like, what is this thing called? It's called a newel. If you didn't know that that's what it's called. I found this at Habitat for Humanity, and I about jumped for joy. I actually did. I'm not gonna lie. I actually like squealed and jumped because I was so excited that I found this. These things run, no lie, anywhere between $50 to like $200 for them. Now it's going to make a mess when you sand it down a little bit. You don't have to sand it if you want to use chalk paint, but I personally am not the biggest fan of chalk paint. I know if you love it, it's okay that we'd like a little bit different paint. I hope you forgive me for that, saying that out loud. But I honestly just love using, for these kind of projects, house paint because it is so much more affordable. I find chalk paint is so expensive. Plus, my sister tells me that you can use house paint and add plaster to it, plaster pear, I forget what it's called, but she says that you can do that and it will end up being more affordable than spending a ton of money on the chalk paint. Now what I'm going to be doing is, after it's all painted, I gave it a couple coats of paint, I'm just going to rough it up because, again, you friends, you know I love a little farmhouse and I like those edges to be just a little bit distressed, nothing too crazy. I still love to see that nice finished white paint polished look. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my drill and I'm just going to drill in a hanger so I can put a wreath on it and decorate. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I had so much fun participating in the Habitat for Humanity fundraiser. Make sure you go down and click that information to the playlist and to donate for their funds and trying to give back to the community if you're looking for an opportunity. Leave a comment down below to let me know what was your favorite project. And until the next episode, bye friends.